But Mozart did have a wonderful sense of balance in his music. Let me explain. As I said, Mozart made most of his money performing. Because he played a lot of piano, he wrote a lot of piano concertos. In fact, if you want an introduction to a lot of Mozart's most beautiful music, look no further than these piano concertos. Here are some of my favorite. A concerto in those times was a piece with solo instrument accompanied by an orchestra. The problem was always, how do we balance it all out? How do we give enough balance between the soloist playing alone, the orchestra playing alone, and the soloist and orchestra playing together, so that it never feels too one-sided? Mozart created a form which solved these problems brilliantly, and it became the standard form for concertos for the next 100 years or more. There's no time to fully explain this in this video, but listen to the slow movement from his Piano Concerto number 23. This is the only movement he ever wrote in F sharp minor, so he must have had something extraordinary to say with it. It starts with the piano singing alone, solitary, and in some kind of pain. And then, in an extraordinary moment of music, the orchestra responds with this. This perfect balance of form happens on a smaller scale too. Let me explain. In music, we have something called diatonicism. We might call this a diatonic scale. It's fine, nice, but a bit vanilla, a bit plain. We can think of diatonicism as a kind of purity. Then we have something called chromaticism, which literally means color. This is a chromatic scale. Mozart's signature was being able to beautifully blend diatonicism, or purity, with chromaticism, or color. Take this moment from his 40th Symphony. Now notice that the melody line is a chromatic scale. But underneath that, his bass line is doing the cycle of fifths. That's literally one of the most diatonic progressions you can make in music. And he's fluidly combining chromaticism and diatonicism, color and purity to perfection, as if it's totally effortless. Here it is again. Finally, there's his influence on opera. In his brief life, Mozart made a big impact on revolutionizing opera. Whereas in earlier generations, opera would focus on lofty ideals, interactions between gods or godlike heroes, and epic tragedies where the characters often felt like empty vessels. Mozart helped bring opera back down to scale and made it focus on real life and real people. Though the characters and stories don't seem very real by today's standards, his subject matter was a huge difference from the distant, godlike subjects of previous generations. And in his operas, even the servants, chambermaids, or harem guards are brought totally to life by Mozart's ability to characterize roles with musical inventiveness. I don't have time to talk in detail, but his three most famous operas are probably The Marriage of Figaro, and we might recognize the musical giggling excitement of the overture. Or the moment of pure forgiveness at the end. Don Giovanni, we might recognize this moment of impactful terror. And the Magic Flute, a most ridiculous and fanciful story with this very famous aria. Still a huge challenge for today's coloratura sopranos. After all this, we might reflect on how extraordinary it is that he died at only 35. What other works of utter genius and humanity were robbed from us by his early grave? I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to say thank you or help support my work, you can do so on my Patreon page. My suggestion boxes are open, so if there's a topic, a piece of music, or a film that you'd like me to consider covering, or if you'd like to simply buy me a coffee to say thank you, then you can visit my Patreon. If you like this, then please do subscribe for more like this. You can like the video and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching.